In this tutorial, I'm going to show you microblading on an eyebrow using the transitional pattern, which is seen on about 75% of all clientele. Hi there, I'm Julia from Pigmenta Cosmetics, and welcome to my channel, the #1 place for permanent makeup education, science, and inspiration. If you're new to my channel, make sure you click that subscribe button below, hit the bell, and turn on your notifications. Everything I mention in this video will be linked in the description box below. So let's jump right into it. Okay, so I'll be doing this procedure with two types of needles, the 6 curve and the 16 curve. As you can see, I did my pre-drawing and I made sure that I put the ridges or the spine in first. In my pigment ring, I have the black pigment, just so my strokes show up better for this demo. And on the client, on the opposite side of the pigment, I would put the numbing agent in there. I will be demonstrating a transitional brow, and this is where the first quarter of the brow hairs go up, and then about a quarter in, the strokes direction turn and the hairs start coming down. Please watch my microblading pattern video. I will link it up above, and that will show you the different types of patterns that are out there. There are mainly 3, and this will give you a better idea as to what I'm talking about right now. Starting in the front, you can see that I actually did 2 or 3 strokes in first, and then I worked my way up to the front because I want my front strokes to be rounded off correctly. Doing it this way will give me more control, and if I wanted to add a stroke in the very front at the end, I can. It just gives me more leeway, and especially in the front, as you can see, I am not dragging the needle all the way from A to B. I am just doing little tiny micro strokes, and I'm almost doing a sweeping movement. And while I'm sweeping, I want to make sure that I overlap continuously. As you're working on the bulb of the eyebrow, you want to fan out up against the ridge. Now that we're coming to the transition, I'm going to do a triple stroke right by the ridge, and that's not always necessary because most people, when they lose hair, the transitional area is actually the last place to lose hair. So the microblading strokes generally blend well with the existing hair. When doing the downward strokes, I want to make longer strokes, and then I'll put the shorter ones in between, and that will prevent me from making my strokes too close together, and just gives it a better overall look. Don't worry too much about the transition area. You will be doing that at the end when you're detailing. And please make sure that your individual strokes are not crisscrossing or overlapping. First of all, you want to avoid a crosshatch look, And also, you do not want to have blowouts. Please watch my video above, which explain what blowouts are. You can see that the front part is a little bit darker than the tail, and the reason for that is because I did more short continuous strokes versus in the back where I did longer strokes and didn't overlap as much. I want to mention that I actually do not soak my brows after I have done microblading because I do multiple passes instead. Typically you would do one pass and then soak the area. I just found that in my experience, doing multiple passes allows me to have more control of how deep I'm going into the skin, and it also gives me a more even color saturation. The only time I saturate the skin with the pigment, or what you would call the pigment mask, is when someone has very vascular skin and they bleed a lot, or they have extremely oily skin, as both these things can flush out color. What I do before I go onto my second pass, I look at the strokes and go into those again that are too light. This way, when I start my next pass, I have even color distribution. From the way I'm holding the tool that I do not vary off my angle. My angle is 90 degrees perpendicular from the skin. I do not tilt my tool whatsoever, because if I did that, my strokes will come out uneven or worse, perforated. That means more work for you at the touch-up appointment and also very unhappy people. It's worth mentioning that this is silicone skin and a flat surface. On the brow bone, where it's round and curved, you will have to adjust your angle to accommodate the 90-degree rule. So let's see how this translates into the real world. I am using the 16 curve to do microblading hair strokes on this lovely client. Notice the angle on my blade. It is 90-degree perpendicular, and I will do that throughout the entire brow. Enjoyed this tutorial, and if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us at pigmentausa.com. And if you have questions about this and any other permanent makeup related subjects, please tell me in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. See you same time next week.